We're off to a brilliant start today, aren't we? Okay, Ben, you ready to actually get started this time?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Hello and welcome to March to the Pod, a show that episode 2 of season 2 is a little rocky, but we're gonna get it done anyway. Today we're gonna answer your questions about the roster on the football team as fall camp begins. We also have previews of women's soccer and volleyball today. I'm your host, Cory Hogue, the non-FBS insider at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Find me on your favorite social media channels at Cory Hogue Sports. That's all one word, CoryHogue Sports. I'm joined by the creator and manager of Sports of SHSU. Again, it's the one-word theme on Twitter and Instagram. Chief Operating Officer of the Cat Fund, proud Bearcat alum, man with a real job, Ben Sorrells. Ben, before we get going here, I want to let people know that we will not be here next week, but we will return with an episode on August the 14th. So we will have a week off. I'm taking a bit of a work/vacation out to visit some family in Arizona. So we won't be back till then, but you know what? After today, we might need a break, to be honest with you.
I know. I mean, we've got some good content, but it was a struggle to get here.
That is true. We do have some good content, including some breaking news. This broke right before we began, about an hour before, and it is a big-time commitment from Houston Christian, Isaiah Cash. Ben, I know that I'm familiar with Isaiah from his time at Houston Christian. He was a big player for them. Kind of did a dual, like, safety. He can go down into the box and kind of double as a little bit of a linebacker. How does he slot into Skylar Cassidy's defense?
Yeah, I'm actually texting with some staff members about it right now as we speak. So, yeah, he's definitely going to fit in at safety. I know we'll get into it a little bit. One of the questions I had going into training camp is what the second safety spot looked like alongside Jalen Jimerson, who is kind of clearly your first starting safety, but who the second one was a question. So Isaiah Cash is going to come in and compete alongside Nyquil Hawkins, the Virginia Tech transfer. And it sounds like it's going to be one of those two. And so Cash comes in, 4 years of experience, but he's still got 2 years of eligibility, according to the staff, has played nearly 2,000 collegiate snaps, has a ton of experience. So definitely going to come in and compete for that second starting safety position, and a really big pickup kind of at the buzzer right before training camp starts.
I did a transfer portal series. It's on texasfootball.com. And in it, I think it was part 3 where a coach says you go into the portal when fall camp starts and there's 25 wide receivers, 25 defensive backs, right? Like the ones you don't find are offensive, defensive linemen. This just proves that to be true. There's some really good players still out there that teams can fill in a few holes, a few depth issues. Like this is a depth pickup, maybe more than anything, but that is so important when you're in FBS, as we saw last year.
Yeah, and it's a very quality depth pickup. We were talking kind of right before we went on air. This is a guy that was scheduled to go to a Power 4 school, a very notable Power 4 school, and things just didn't work out at the very last minute. Stays close to home. I think he's from Austin, has played at Houston Christian. And so it's a very quality pickup, and it could be a guy that plays a big role in the defense this year.
Now, we use Power 4 a little loosely sometimes, but is the coach of that team, is it rhyme with neon?
It does on days that end in Y. Yeah.
Okay, well that's a lot of days. It's a lot of days.
Yep. That
Hey,
that, that was the school.
that's a lot of days. All right, so hey, that's not the only commit. We have another one, and this is a good one. The Cats picked this up yesterday, and I'm gonna just go ahead and go solo layout with this video. It's wide receiver London Dayon from Galveston Ball High School, 6 foot 490 pounds, held offers from Boise State, Colorado State, Texas State, UTEP, UIW, Prairie View, and Texas Southern. And yes, Ben, those schools matter. Okay. He had 24 receptions, 407 yards, 8 touchdowns, averaging 17 yards per catch. And he brings something else to the table, too, Ben, that I think is going to be really nice for the Cats, and that's kickoff returns. He had 9 kickoff returns. Obviously, they tried to stay away from him, but he averaged 30.7 yards per kickoff return. This is a guy who, I mean, he's a little raw right now when I look at his tape, Ben, but he's 6'4", 190. A little raw means this is a guy who could really be special.
Absolutely. And you can't teach 6'4" at the wideout position. And the thing that really stands out is, I mean, he looks super athletic and moves very well for a guy that's 6'4". And if you can put a little bit more on his frame, I think he's going to be really good. The fact that he's 6'4" and returning kicks, I think at almost 30 yards per kick or per kick return. I think we had that in the show notes. I mean, that's super impressive for a guy his size. And the offers, like you said, they kind of speak for themselves. Boise State, Texas State, UTEP, a couple other really big or a couple big FBS schools. So really big commit that you pick up at the wide receiver spot.
It is. And look, he is raw, but when he's got 2 things he does well when I'm looking at his huddle tapes, and he makes really good cuts on slant patterns. He's able to get open. And then he's good on the fade routes, which, of course, 6'4" helps, but he's got those hands. The quarterback's not – I mean, look, it's high school, right? The ball's not always placed exactly where you want it at college and pro level, but even less so at high school. But he's got that ability to go grab it, pull it in, and he's got speed. And as we're seeing right now, he's a bit of a nasty run blocker too, Ben.
Yeah, you got to have that too. And for a guy that's a little lanky right now, maybe hasn't filled out his frame, that's a good thing to see that he can get in there and block a little bit. And it's interesting, the Sam Houston staff in the portal last year and the high school class for guys coming in this year has really prioritized height. You brought in Quavez Humphreys, who's 6'4". He'll be in the mix this year, maybe your best receiver. The high school class of 24, you brought in Marcus Field and Carson Maynard, who I both believe are 6'3". And then you've got London Dayon, who is 6'4". So kind of interesting to see them really going after some guys with a lot of height.
You know, height matters, right?
Yep.
It does. There we are. We're back. Height matters. When I play the video games, which I don't have a PS5, so I'm not playing NCAA 25.
Me neither.
And I don't have time anymore. I'm sorry. I just don't. But that's okay. Life gets in the way. But when I did have time to play video games, I also went for height. Because there's 2 things you can't substitute for. You can't substitute height and you can't substitute speed. Those are things that are God-given. No matter how hard you try, you're not stretching yourself into 6'4". And you're not going to make yourself fast. You can make yourself a little faster, but listen, you've got God-given. Some of these guys have some God-given speed. Looks like he has a little bit of both. And when I see offers like Boise State, Texas State, UTEP in there too. Hey, did you see UTEP's new locker room today?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, look, good things are going on out in El Paso, right? Mike Craven's out there right now. Drove all the way out there in the company truck to be there as they see this. Scotty Walden, UTEP, man, they're getting serious about it too. And the fact that Sam Houston won this recruiting battle, I think, speaks volumes for how well they're kind of competing against some of the schools that are like-minded as them right now.
Yeah, and I think it shows location still matters some for guys at this level. I mean, P4 level money is kind of crazy, but at this level in the G5 ranks, location still matters. And so getting a kid from Galveston You have some success with kids from Galveston, especially with the McCollum twins. I think location still matters here, and I think it could play a big part in the recruitment of a lot of these guys.
It most definitely does. Hey, Ben, how's the weather down there?
Hot,
Yeah,
stormy.
hot, humid, maybe a little dry right now.
Always
Sometimes,
during the summer.
you know what? That means it's the perfect time to get a hold of our friends over at Eternal Roofing, Taylor Andrus and Company. While it's not raining, while you've got time,
Yeah.
we know it's not going to last for long. So let's go ahead and get these roof inspections done. And Eternal Roofing will give you free detailed roof inspections. They're going to give you fast and professional service. And they're going to give it with no pressure. No pressure to get it done. And then the workmanship qualities are just top of the line. You will be extremely happy. And they use the best stuff. They use CertainTeed shingles, which are known for how good they look and how long they last. Give them a call. You can't go wrong with our friends over at Eternal Roofing. You can get a hold of them, Montgomery County office or the Montgomery office, area code 936-215-8539. I'm just winging it today. In the Hill Country, area code 830-251-5673, or you can email Taylor directly because you never know if I am messing this up. And you can find him, Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com, and make sure you tell him that you heard about him here on March to the Pod. So this way, we appreciate our relationship and our friendship we've had with Taylor Andrus. And Ben, I think it's important that we kind of preview some big news, that could be coming here soon. It's been almost a year that we've been partnered with Eternal Roofing. Can you believe that?
I know. It's crazy. It's been an incredible partnership.
It really has. It sounds like it's going to keep going. And so that is the good news for us and for everyone else. Because, look, Eternal Roofing is the place to get whatever you need done for roofing or general contracting throughout the Hill Country and the state of Texas and Houston, San Antonio, you name it. They're there for you. Give them a call. Well, I didn't even have to set it up today. You did my work for me, Ben Sorrells. You posted in the exclusive Cat Fun section over at catfans.com a bunch of questions. We're going to address some of those questions today with What Say You, Ben? It is Cat Nation's favorite game. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Who earns the final defensive back spot? What say you, Ben?
Yeah, we're starting off with an easy one because we just got some clarity on it within the last hour and a little more info on it. So I'm actually going to say Isaiah Cash wins the final DB spot. I wrote about how Fisher and Armstead are your two corners. Weaver's there at nickel. You've got Jalen Jimerson at one safety, but the second safety was kind of a question. I thought Nike Hawkins could be the guy, but it really sounds like once Isaiah Cash gets up to speed, he's going to be the guy. So it's going to be one of those two, but I'm going to roll with what we've got right now and kind of the hot name. I'm going to go with Isaiah Cash is going to get the final spot.
I really appreciate when you just buy in wholeheartedly to these bits that I just make up out of thin air. It's really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why not? Who is the primary linebacker for the Cats besides Kavian Gaither? What say you, Ben?
Yeah, so this is really a two-part question. The first part is you say Isaiah Nixon, and that is the correct answer. But Isaiah Nixon's going to line up on the edge a lot, and there's going to be another linebacker besides Kavian Gaither. So you'll have Nixon with three other guys on the line. You'll have Gaither, and then who's that second linebacker in the 4-2-5? The two I'm really looking at are Trey Fields and Sincere Jackson. Trey Fields is a guy the staff has been high on. I've liked his development the last 3 years. He's just kind of been blocked by guys who are a lot more talented, like Trevor Williams and Kavian Gaither. But now he's kind of finally got a shot at it. And so I think he's going to be the guy, but you also got to watch out for Sincere Jackson. He's been hurt a lot the last 2 years, but when he's played, he's done well. But I think I'm going to go with Trey Fields getting the final linebacker spot alongside Kavian Gaither.
Okay, write it down, people, because if he's right, we're going to credit him. If he's wrong, it's going to get ugly around here.
Yeah.
Moving on. Next question, and this is a big one because, Lord have mercy, Ben Sorrells, we set through the Cats last year. A lot of us set through some really not great offensive line play. Left tackle is the most important spot on that offensive line. So who wins the starting left tackle spot? What say you, Ben?
Yeah, it kind of seemed like it was going to be Grayson Jackson Smith's spot, especially during the spring. He started pretty much all last year till he got hurt. It was rough at the beginning, but he definitely showed signs of improvement and adjusted to the FBS level well. And he didn't practice during the spring, still recovering from an injury. And he was kind of just penciled in at left tackle, but I've heard some really good things about Luke Eckerd, who was the starting left tackle at Iowa Western this last year, the team that won the JUCO title with Hunter Watson. So it's going to be a battle between those two guys. I think both are going to be pretty decent options. I have not seen Luke Eckerd yet, but I'm probably going to still go with Grayson Jackson Smith as my best guess. Team had kind of penciled him in there for a while. But we'll see. That's one I'm very unsure of between the two of them.
The game is not. What are you unsure of, Ben?
This is why they're the burning questions coming into spring, is because we don't have answers.
We want answers at that spot. That'll be something we're watching over fall camp. The O-line has got to be better this year if the Cats have any hopes of challenging for a bowl game. That's just bottom line.
Yeah.
Okay, running backs, dime a dozen. I say it all the time, right? But you need them, and you need more than one. You need about 2 or 3. How are they going to split reps this year is the big question. So what does the timeshare at running back look like? What say you, Ben Sorrells?
Yeah, you've got 3 quality backs this year. You've got John Gentry coming back, who was kind of the bell cow last year, leading rusher, can do a little bit of everything in the run game and the pass game. And then you've got Zach Hrabacek back as well, was your leading rusher in 2022, but missed most of last season. And then you bring in Jay Ducker from Memphis, who was their leading rusher 2 years ago and was MAC Freshman of the Year in 2021. I think ultimately John Gentry is going to be your starter. This is his second year in the system. He got a ton of reps during spring with some other guys being out. And I think Ducker's probably going to be a close number 2. But I also really love what Zach Hrabacek brings. Kind of a lightning bug, just really, really quick. Is kind of your speed back, where I think Gentry can do a little bit of everything, and so can Ducker. So I think Gentry is your starting guy. Ducker's a close number 2, but I also think there's going to be a role for Hrabacek, and I don't think all 3 running backs are going to play all 12 games. So I'm sure they're all going to get a lot of work in throughout the year.
Yeah, that's a position you get dinged up a lot.
Yeah, we saw that last year when we had to play a linebacker there for 2 games.
That's just how it happens. It's hard to have enough depth at that position in college football. It just is.
Yeah.
Until you expand the rosters to 215 people, right? Then there'll be.
We're halfway there.
We're halfway there. There we go. All right. Last question on this segment for the Cats here, and I got to know who wins the starting quarterback job, because we heard last week from Media Day, Ben, that Casey Keeler told us he doesn't like 2 quarterbacks. He don't like a system. So it's got to be one. Who's going to be that starting quarterback day one? What say you, Ben Sorrells?
Yeah, if Hunter Watson is fully healthy and can get reps in during the spring or during training camp, I think he's going to be your day one starter. Not exactly 100% sure on what the status of his knee is after he had a little minor knee procedure back in April, but he was the best quarterback during the spring. So we'll see what he looks like coming back from the knee injury. And I don't think it's an indictment on Jace Bauer or Grant Gunnell, because I think they both performed very well during the spring. It was more of just Hunter playing so well that you kind of have to give him the job. So if Hunter's healthy, I'm going to say him. If he's not 100%, and the knee kind of holds him back a little bit, I'm going to go with Jace Bauer, who I think is more than enough, has more than enough to get it done at the QB position.
One of those guys is a national champion last year, right?
Yep, that is Watson.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying national championship this year. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that if that would be my favorite going into this, right? Like the guy's proven himself.
And you know JUCO football better than almost anyone. So the fact that he led his team to the JUCO national title, went undefeated, I mean, you know the kind of player it takes to be able to do that.
Yes. Yeah. And you look and see all across FBS, Power 5, Group of 5, it's a lot of transfers from Tyler, Kilgore, Trinity Valley. Like these teams are always really good. It is the best football I watch every year. It is an FBS level games when they're on the field. And, you know, so getting a guy like that, that's a big pickup, and not forgetting about the JUCO world during this transfer portal, Ben. That's something that I heard another coach during the Southland Conference Media Day talk about too, that, man, some of these people are overlooking the JUCOs and not the Cats, man. Casey Keeler has a way of finding the talent, and it's just good to see that, you know, he's staying on the front edge of what's happening in, because with the portal, everyone's in there, right? So somebody's getting left behind.
Yeah.
Somebody got to go pick those up, and those are good players.
They are. Yeah, and a lot of, I don't know if I want to call them casuals, but just kind of regular fans look at it and say, well, you only got 2 FBS transfers. I don't know the exact numbers, but you got 2 or 3 FBS transfers and 10 JUCO guys. It's not that good of a class, but when your JUCO guys are all performing at a very high level, you'd almost rather take that over a guy who didn't really play at the FBS level. A guy like maybe Michael Phoenix, who had, I think, 900 receiving yards at Kilgore last year, is probably a better option than the 7th guy on the depth chart from SMU, something like that. So JUCO ranks, you can definitely get some good talent from.
Very much so. And that playing experience is, and not just experience, but experience against top competition. Like Kilgore was in the national semis last year. Mm-hmm. And I know how good they were. I know how good Iowa Western was. Really excited to see how that turns out. Hey, Ben, did you know that there are 13 weeks in the college football regular season? And that's silly old Mike Craven. It went to all 13 schools last year, 1 school a week. And they provided this book that it would be perfect for your coffee table. You can order it today. They're going to start shipping in August. And if you haven't looked at a calendar, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow's August. So get it ordered. TexasFootball.com. Order yours today. It is going to ship soon. It's going to be a piece that you're going to want to sit there. It's just great. I haven't seen any of it just yet, but I know the work put into it, the people involved in this, and Craven is an outstanding writer. I mean, you know, between Craven, Carter Yates, and Greg Tepper,
and the award-winning Cory Hogue.
No. Between Craven, Carter Yates, and Greg Tepper, those dudes know how to write a story. Cory, no, he don't know how to write a story.
He wins awards, though.
Sometimes. I pay for it or whatever. Also want to let people know that we are a podcast on the Republic of Football Network and a member, which is, good gosh, you see, you threw me off there, Ben. That's why can't happen. I'm going to start that over. You ready? We're going to restart this live broadcast in 3, 2, 1. We are a podcast on the Republic of Football Network and an extension of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Please like and subscribe to the podcast and follow us on the various social media platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at March to the Pod. It's all one word. It's the only way we know how to do things. March, the number 2, the Pod. And if you look for us on Threads, it's the March to the Pod, because we got to have an ode to Ohio State or something in there, you know?
Oh, yeah. Gotta love them. Gotta love the Power 4.
Yeah, that's the reason, right? Hey, we would appreciate it if you would go to texasfootball.com and subscribe. And let me tell you something, Ben. The magazine has been headed to subscribers since the middle of June, and there are still places that haven't received it yet across Texas. You'll still get it. You'll still get it. If you go in right now and you $49.95, you get 3 magazines. The summer magazine will be shipped to you immediately. You'll get the recruiting magazine that comes out in November, and you'll get a basketball magazine that comes out September, October timeframe. All 3 of those, plus all of our streaming content on Texan Live, which is expanding all the time, and it's only getting better and better. And then you get exclusive access to all our behind the scenes stuff, right? Like you if you enjoy, oh, how about that? Producer's really having a hard time today, Ben.
It's all right.
Yeah, you know. But if you enjoy the transfer portal series, that's all locked. Right? Like a lot of the stuff if you want to keep up with where you used to be in FCS, a lot of that stuff is locked these days. So we'd appreciate it if you would subscribe. Again, you can go there at texasfootball.com/subscribe. Good God. I think if anyone needs a break right now, I'm showing that I could probably use another week off, man.
Give him 2 weeks off.
It's a little rusty, right? Just slightly. Hey, while we're here, I want to go ahead and shout out our friends over at Eternal Roofing once more. And we told you about the fast service and that they're not going to give you any pressure, and they do great work, which is all true. But they do more than just roofing. They do general contracting as well. They can paint the interior, exterior of your home or business. They can install gutters, garage doors. They can install your floors, perform any woodworking need, whether it be crown molding, shelf work, sheetrock. They can repair it. And then the other night, we were celebrating my daughter's birthday, and I brought this up to the family because we party. The Hogues know how to party. We're talking about Christmas lights installation, right?
Oh, boy.
That's how you party. I'm not kidding, though. This was a real conversation. And my sister was like, yes. Hey, they start putting those things up on our street in like September.
Yep.
Well, I'm no genius, Ben, but that's coming up quick. You better get on that list for some Christmas lights.
Yeah, if you're a September light hanger up person, you've got exactly 1 month practically to call Eternal Roofing. They'll put them up, take them down, do everything in between.
I love this. Hey, Christmas lights.
Hanger upper.
Put her upper.
Put her upper. There we go.
You don't even have to put her upper. You can call Eternal Roofing and they'll put her upper for you.
Right.
You want to get on that calendar because, again, it is coming soon. And if Montgomery County office is area code 936-215-8539, the Hill Country, give them a call, area code 830-251-5673. You can always email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com. And while you're there, make sure you go over and check out that the gallery they have. They update it with some of the work. They do a great job. Definitely give them a call and get on that schedule because, dude, it's August. Just the way it goes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Speaking of that, guess what else is coming? Women's soccer is coming soon. And that's the soccer schedule there, isn't it? Yay, me. Yes. I did it. All right. So the soccer schedule's coming soon. We want to get through here before, as I've got the schedule up, if you're watching live on YouTube or you're catching this on the podcast and you want to see it live, you can catch us also live on YouTube each week since Twitter took away all that. I digress. Anyway, Ben, I want to start with key returners on the women's soccer team this year.
Yeah, it's a team that for the first time in a while has some really high expectations coming in. And I think there's 3 names to really keep an eye on as far as returners go. I think the first one, starting with the goalie position, looking at Savannah Hall, was your primary starter last year. She's back, redshirt senior, has a lot of experience. So that's the first name to know. Next one, who I think might be your best player on the team this year, is Pam Murray. Believe she led the team in points last year and goals. So she's going to be really good. She's a junior, had a really big sophomore year last year, kind of came out of nowhere and was really good. And then the last one, another veteran, is Landry Townsend. Landry's been doing this for a while now, has played significant minutes ever since her freshman year, has always been one of the top scorers her first 3 years. And so between those three, I mean, those are three really solid players between your goalie and then probably your top two goal scorers are coming back. So really excited about this team, really hopeful for what they can do this year.
Slow down, overachiever. We'll get there. Okay. We'll get there, Ben. Patience. Because we need to know some of the newcomers we should watch out for.
Yeah, there's a couple. You've got Cassia Souza. I hope I don't butcher the first name there. She's another goalie to watch for coming in from UC Riverside. So you've got some depth there, which is good in case Savannah Hall goes down. She was a 3-year team captain at UC Riverside, another Division I school. So that's a good one. You've also got Kaylee Dressback coming in from U of H. She played over 1,000 minutes, I think, last year at U of H as a defenseman. So good to add on the defense there. And then you've got one more. I'm trying to find the name. Oh, here we go. Gabrielle Gibson. She started almost every game last year as a true freshman at SFA, another defenseman. So those are three transfers to probably keep an eye on this year.
And isn't that the first team they play this year at home?
It might be. I know they played Texas Southern in the exhibition match, but yeah, first match is SFA.
How about that? I paid attention for a second. That'll be a game she's interested in, going against the they still call them Lumberjacks, the Lady Lumberjacks.
I don't know. We don't pay attention to them.
Some of us do, Ben. Okay,
not this guy.
Not Ben Sorrell's name.
No.
All right. So not counting SFA, what are the top non-conference games that you're keeping an eye on this year?
Yeah, I mean, nothing really too notable, but I really love how the schedule sets up and how it is a very regional schedule. I mean, A&M Corpus is maybe your farthest drive kind of thing. Everything is very regional, which is good to see. I mean, playing at U of H will be a good one. So there's definitely some good regional matchups in there. No, like really big names. You're not playing like an A&M or a Texas or a big name like that. But really love how it's regional. Houston's probably the most notable name, but I'm excited that they don't have to travel very far.
Well, and that's probably got a whole lot of reasons, and one of those being budgetary at the time too. A lot of region. And look, we talk about that like it's not a bad thing. If you ever watch University of Texas baseball team, they play a lot of little regional games in midweek game because it's about budget a lot of times.
Yeah, and Bobby Williams was talking about in the podcast a week or two ago how the travel was a little more than they expected. So anywhere you can kind of cut into that a little bit, I think is going to be a big help.
Yeah, it is. And so that has cut into it, obviously. And so that is a huge help. All right. So you are optimistic.
Yes.
The question is, how optimistic are you? It's time to get Ben's prediction for the women's soccer team this year.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team last year that went 6-7-4, so right around 500, 3-3-2 in conference play, so right at 500, maybe a little more than 500, and returns a lot. Returns probably your top two goal scorers. Added a couple really nice pieces in the portal, and I think Sonia Carvello in her third year has really established, or is really going to establish her culture and what she wants to do. She's always been a winner wherever she's been, so I think this is a team that is either they made the conference semifinal last year, had a chance to tie it, I believe, in the 85th minute and lost. And so I think it's a team that's going to make the conference tournament final. And I'm going to say, I don't know if they win it, but they're going to make it to at least the conference tournament final.
Will they? has there been since the Cats became FBS, I guess, since they kind of made the move up. Last couple of years, there hasn't been a team really making NCAA tournament yet, has there?
Bowling did, women's golf did.
Bowling, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, okay.
This would be the first.
But this is, look, bowling is good. We know that. Sam Houston bowling is outstanding, and so is their golf.
Right.
That's not a surprise to me that both of those have made it. Will women's soccer, and when's the last time they even made it? Probably have no idea.
They never have. They
never have. Will this be the first time?
I would lean towards no, but if they did it, it wouldn't shock me. I mean, it's a team that was right there last year. I mean, you were a couple inches away from probably being in the title game last year. And I think this team is better than last year. So obviously we got to see what the rest of the conference looks like this year and how that pans out when the preseason poll comes out. I bet we're number 3 or 4 is kind of where I bet they slate us, but I'm going to be a little optimistic. Say we get to the conference tournament final.
All right. I like it. It's an improvement, most definitely. Hey, did you hear earlier when I said that the commitment and all those questions earlier were answered, even though the answers have differed now due to happenings today, that those were in the exclusive section of the Cat Fund over at catfans.com? Ben, did you hear that part?
I did catch that part.
Yeah. Well, for those who are like, okay, how do I find this information out? How can I join the Cat Fund, and why should I join the Cat Fund? I'm going to turn it over to the Chief Operating Officer here. Ben, tell them why.
Yeah, join to support student athletes, like it says right there on the screen. And you can sign up as little as $10 a month. You'll get access to premium content, merchandise, event access, everything in between. And so definitely sign up, become a member today. We've got some exciting stuff coming up with the basketball team, have our golf tournament coming up, and then our auction, which information should be out on by the end of this week. Cat Fund members get a discount on the entry fee into that. So definitely a lot of perks to signing up. And most of all, you get to support the athletes at Sam Houston.
Definitely. Hey, the mute button worked again. Definitely want to support the student athletes. And for those who may not be watching us, which is fine, at least you're listening. We appreciate you. And I'll tell you to go to cat-fund or cat-fund.com. That's how you can get involved. Like Ben said, it's for as low as $10 a month. We also, one more time, look, our friends over at Eternal Roofing are great to us, and we like to be great to them. And we've told you now about the work they do, right? And we've told you about the Christmas lights and the general contracting. You go, Cory, I own a business. Yeah, hey, look, Eternal Roofing's got something for you too, because they specialize in commercial roofing. They can accommodate your HVAC system, any other roof equipment you might have, while ensuring minimal disruptions to your operations during installation or repair. You can't beat our friend Taylor Andrus and his team over at Eternal Roofing. So give them a call today in the Hill Country, area code 830-251-5673. The Montgomery County area, you can call area code 936-215-8539, or you can just simply email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com. And when you go to eternalroofingtx.com, I'll tell you again, click on that gallery. You'll see they do outstanding work. And now, if you heard the squeak in the background, that's because my son is playing with the dog's toys.
The future Eternal Roofer.
Such goes my life, right? It is no kidding. Every roofing company is Eternal Roofing, in Gabe's opinion. Every single one of them. And he, he's 8 years old, so he's great. So when he's sitting there and he starts doing his daddy impressions, he always mentions Eternal Roofing. He also mentions Ben Sorrells, which I think is great too.
Celeb shout out, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I'm like, you know him, man. You know Ben Sorrells. How about that? Hey, soccer ain't the only season starting soon, Ben. Probably right around the time we get back or before. Well, it'll be after we get back. So, but we're going to go ahead and give a preview to this year's volleyball team. We're going to do it along the same way we did soccer earlier in the show. We're going to start. Give us the key returners for the volleyball program this year.
Yeah, two to know, two big names to know. Hannah Baker, who's really building a legacy here at Sam Houston. One of the best players we've ever had. And last year she set the Diggs record at Sam Houston. So she's obviously the first one to know. Might be preseason. That. What's that?
I digs that.
But yep.
Yeah, I know it. I don't even have it ready yet. Here, do I?
So yeah, got to know.
There it is. After I hit the cheering one, this is going swimmingly.
Oh man, but yeah, Hannah Baker, first one to know. The next one to know is Mackenzie Morvant. Has been with the team. I believe this is her 5th year now. Has been a significant contributor for multiple years, and so they're the two names that you really have to know when you're talking about returners for this year's team.
That's awesome. I looked over at my email. It said YouTube, you're not live. And I was like, good, it's supposed to be. All right.
Finally.
Whew, yeah, I know, right? Key newcomers to this. Now, at least next week I can get that link out and know it's working on the YouTube and we can send people there. Because believe it or not, we had quite a few people that enjoyed watching the live stream when it was on Twitter. And hopefully they will find our YouTube page as well. And we move on to the key newcomers. Ben, give us who they are.
Yeah, so I think there's two that really pop. Just you kind of have to pay attention to. The first one is Piper Boydstrom, transferring in from Northwestern State as a setter. She's been the starting setter for Northwestern State the last few years. I would expect her to be the same here at Sam Houston this next year. And then the next one is Lila Washington, an outside hitter, needed help on the outside. She comes in from Lehigh. And she's from San Antonio, so from Texas. So she's going to provide some help on the outside. So I think between Piper Boydstrom and Lila Washington, they're the two names to know when it comes to people incoming. And then you've got 7 freshmen coming in. So almost half your roster is brand new. And so we'll see which of those 7 freshmen maybe kind of develop into something this year, because we're probably going to see a lot of them with 7 of the 20 players on the roster being freshmen.
Awesome. All right. And as I give my pup a treat for stopping my foot from shaking there, we move into looking at the schedule. This is the promotional schedule, which I think is very important to take a look at here. We take a look at the promotional schedule for this year. What on the promotional side has you excited?
The fact that we're doing promotions.
There you go. Ta-da, Sam Houston. Welcome and thank you.
Yep. And I know soccer, they haven't released their full schedule yet, but on the Welcome Week schedule, soccer has 2 games during Welcome Week, and both of those have theme nights. And so good to see a little bit of promotion activity going on for our teams. They definitely deserve it.
You know, they brought somebody in, if I remember correctly, a couple months ago to, kind of look at some of that fan engagement stuff.
Yep, Adam Bright, and you sent your T's and P's to him, and I think he's doing well.
Look, he took them, and he cashed in on some of them. I give him credit, man. This is only a start, hopefully, to what they're doing. Okay, so top non-conference games in the schedule that you've got your eye on, Ben Sorrells.
Ooh, yeah, let's pull up the schedule here real quick and take a look. So volleyball typically has a very intriguing non-conference schedule. I feel like they've dialed that back just a little bit because it has been a little too difficult. When we're looking at interesting games, they're playing Alabama. That's going to be a fun one. I think they played Alabama last year. And then another one that could be fun is UTSA, kind of a regional opponent there. So Alabama's the big name that stands out. I'm just glad we're not playing 5 or 6 Power 5 teams this year and just one. So a little bit more manageable of a schedule this year, thankfully.
Yeah, and then when I look at it, I notice there's a lot of invitationals and tournaments, which I think is probably the route to go right now. You can get a lot of games in. At one time, they open with the Bearcat Invitational Prairie View on August 30th. They have UIW SFA coming in there. They go to Oral Roberts tournament up in Oklahoma, up in Tulsa, where they'll meet Tulsa. They get a game against Bethune-Cookman as well as ORU. Roadrunner Classic, you mentioned it. That's a fun one. That to me is the one that really stands out. Alabama, Central Arkansas, UTSA, and all in San Antonio. Not a far drive. That could be a lot of fun right there. And then the Bearcat Classic with Lamar and Texas Southern before they begin conference play.
Okay, well,
I really like that one in San Antonio myself.
I was going to say, I'm glad we got some clarification on what our event is called this year. Do you remember what it was called last year?
I remember they kept changing it.
It was the Bearcat Invitational Tournament, or no, Invitational Classic, or Classic Invitational, or something.
They just split it up, two of them. We'll have an Invitational and a Classic.
Right. Just do both of them.
That's right.
Just slap them both on there.
It works. Okay. Conference USA. What are the key games to watch when they get into conference play this year?
Yeah, so I think the first one you have to look at is Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is a perennial top 25 team, and you get them at home this year, I believe it is. You bring in Western Kentucky. Yep, that's correct. So that's going to be a fun one. Top 25 team probably coming to Huntsville, and then you open conference play against Middle Tennessee, and so that's got to be a notable one also. So open conference play at home, and then you get one of the top teams in the country in Western Kentucky coming to Huntsville this year, which should be cool.
Yeah, and I'm looking. I mean, road games: UTEP, La Tech, Kennesaw, Liberty. That's a bit of a. But for the most part, Miami, they go to Miami to finish out the regular season. For the most part, it seems rather manageable this year.
Yeah, and I'm glad they've stuck with the schedule where you play a team twice on the weekend. So you've got 5 road trips instead of 10.
Yes.
You play each team at home, like on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of thing. And so definitely helps with the travel. Glad they're keeping it that way.
Yeah, because we do tend to forget that they are still students and they have to study sometimes.
Sometimes, not all the time.
It's all about study every now and then. Every now and then. Also, I think it's good that they take that trip to El Paso. They play in that gym because that's where the Conference USA tournament is this year. And honestly, just that familiarity in the same year is very important.
It is. And hopefully they can make the conference tournament this year. I mean, did not make it last year, need to make it this year.
Well, Mr. Positivity here. I'm going to ask you now, Ben, as you've got me all hyped up for the volleyball season. What is your prediction for the Cats program, volleyball program?
Yeah, I had a very positive outlook for soccer. I think it's going to be a little more bleak when it comes to volleyball. I think they're going to be better than last year. They went 1-15 in conference play last year, which is 16 games. I believe they're playing 18 this year, playing all 9 other teams. I think this is probably a 4-14 kind of team, maybe. I mean, there's definitely going to be an improvement, but you don't return a whole lot outside of Morvant and Baker. You've got a couple smaller contributors that come back, have a couple decent portal pickups, and you just don't know what you have from the freshmen. And it's been a rough last 2 years for volleyball. So I don't expect them to go from 1-15 in conference to 10-8. I think it's probably a 4 or 5 win conference schedule this year. So I hope I'm wrong.
Is that enough to get them into the conference tournament?
I think it would be. I think, what is it? The top 8 teams make it, I'm assuming. I haven't looked at the bracket. I don't even know if there is a bracket out for this year because I know for softball, the bracket didn't come out until like a month before. So we'll see how many teams make it. If the top 8 make it, I think they will. I think they'll probably be the 7th or 8th best team in Conference USA, kind of the 4 to 5 range when it comes to wins in conference.
You heard it here first. Ben's predicting that the Cats are going to make the conference tournament. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I do like that prediction. I think we will make the conference tournament.
Well, that is excellent. Hey, guess what? This show, as choppy as it may have been, we got through it. But now
we did.
We'll be gone next week. So we want to remind people it's going to be 2 more weeks till we get back here. August the 14th, we'll come back. And when we get back on August 14th, Ben, it's going to be really time to start honing in on that football season and what's going on in fall camp. We'll have so much information to talk about. And shortly coming up here before the end of August, obviously, we got to have our yearly football predictions. And last year, my pessimism won.
It did.
Will I be pessimistic again?
I'm interested to see what you say. I know you hit it right at the 3-9 prediction. I said 5-7, which, I mean, you were 2 bounces of the ball away from being 5-7, but that's not how the game works.
That's the point, right?
So we'll see. I've been saying my prediction, and we can break it down more, is somewhere between 5-7 and 7-5 this year. So I'm interested to see what the award-winning Cory Hogue has to say.
Well, I will tell you initially, I think they are better. I think they're deeper, and I think they will definitely be better. Does that mean bowl game? I'm not sold yet. So we'll see what happens in a couple weeks if that opinion changes a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm anxious to hear it.
So am I. I'm also anxious to hear my own opinion.
We'll see what it is that day.
Yeah, exactly. Because then don't ask me the next day. It could change.
Right. One day you got us going to the playoff. The next day you have us at 2 wins and Keeler's fired. You never know.
I got you in with Texas and Bama. Right.
Never know.
Oh, yeah, boy, that would be crazy. If Sam Houston makes the playoffs, if they make the playoffs this year, I will probably find my way to get to that semifinal game.
Yeah, I'll be there. That's for sure.
I mean, you got to. It'd be so unreal, that story of how they got there.
Maybe
I could get the work to pay for it, the company to pay for it too, and call it work.
Yeah, well, it'd be really fun is if maybe like Texas was the best non-Power 4 conference winner. They get the 5 seed, and then Sam Houston's the 12. You got Sam Houston traveling to Texas. I mean, that'd be just fantastic.
Dude, that'd be a lot of orange in Austin, and only part of it would be the right color. Just saying.
Yep.
Dirty orange.
We'll see.
Clean orange. That's all I'm saying. One team is proud of the dirty orange. That ain't the Cats. We like our orange. It's clean.
Yep. Not burnt.
Not burnt. Not burnt at all. We do our dinner right. Hey, we want to say thank you to everyone listening, watching on YouTube. Without you, none of this shenanigans are even possible. I swear, I'm going to try to take a break and get better here in the next couple weeks. Until next time, Ben, take us out with something that can redeem this show.
Eat 'em up, Cats, and please go get some rest, Cory. We need you for 2 weeks from now.
I got to get some rest.